Hello, welcome to this weather in Florence update. Should I say Florence? I meant, uh, what's her name? Francine. I keep getting the two names mixed up, but we're starting here with the satellite image from today. You can see Hurricane Francine, our hurricane. You can see our air skies, which were relatively clear. We had a few cumulus clouds around today. A lot of smoke up in the Great Lakes area that we may wind up getting into, and that's all coming from the west, as you see. Let's get the latest update on Francine out of the way here. Latest update. Here we go. Latest public advisory. As of 10 p.m., Francine is moving toward the Louisiana coast. Life-threatening storm surge and hurricane force winds expected to begin in Louisiana on Wednesday as of 10 p.m. Its location 26.4 north, 94.3 west, about 185 miles east-northeast of the mouth of the Rio Grande, and about 295 miles southwest of Morgan City, Louisiana. Maximum staying winds are 75 miles an hour. Moving northeast at 10 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 180 millibars to 8.94 inches. We're going to look at the map now and show you the latest warning cone. Not much has changed, but you see the hurricane warning now has shifted a little bit east now. This is interesting. So the track is shifting a little bit to the east now, and this is going to threaten more of the New Orleans area now, it looks like, which is definitely not a good thing at all because that is a very low-lying area, susceptible to flooding. And we've seen hurricanes do some pretty serious damage over there, both to the power grid and cause flooding as well. And that landfall is going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It has a day and it could still strengthen, obviously. We're going to look at our satellite image here. We're going to put this into motion. Show you Francine here. And you can see Francine here on the infrared, as well as the visible. And all that smoke that is coming from out west. I think this is a little bit longer here. And you can see all that smoke from out west there. And here, again, is Francine. All right. Just getting our weather out of the way first. We'll just show you what the sky was like today. We did have some blue skies today. Some puffy clouds, some scattered clouds. You see just a slight bit of haze in the air. It's definitely looking toward the southwest. I'm wondering if some of that was coming from that wildfire in New Jersey, south of Toms River, that is now 70% contained. And then this evening, at Jones Beach, you could see again a little bit of that smoke in the air. So it was a little bit of it around today, mostly at upper levels, just a slight bit. We're going to probably have to deal with worse than that later on. And of course, we do have the moon out tonight. Finally, the moon has returned. So let's look at the latest close-up satellite imagery of Francine, Hurricane Francine now. And here is Hurricane Francine, and you can see definitely you can see blow-ups, definitely strengthening. A lot of bright white. This is definitely a storm that's definitely in its process strengthening, and unfortunately, it looks like it's taking direct aim at central Louisiana, including New Orleans, which is right about over here, is going to be on the eastern side of that storm, and that is always the stronger side of the storm, unfortunately. Back to our weather. We'll just go over our current conditions. Temperatures not as cool as it has been, 63. Dew points up to 61. So definitely getting a little more humidity. We did have a northwest wind, and then the wind shifted off to the south. We'll just show you that briefly if we can. And while we're waiting for that to load, I'll show you the highs and the lows today. So, wow, they're getting radiational cooling, though, in the Pine Barrens. 55 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River, and 52 at the Brescia Airport, 55 at Toms River. Or in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River. But for the rest of us, we're in the mid-60s to around 70. So going over our highs, definitely a lot warmer today. Temperatures upper 70s to near 80 on Long Island and low 80s in New Jersey and other inland areas. The lows probably not quite as cool as they have been. You have 50 at West Hampton, 54 at the Pine Barrens west of Toms River, though I do see 148 near Coyle Field there. But other than that, lows definitely, it won't be as chilly as it has been, as we're going to deal with warmer temperatures. And this just kind of shows you what your day was like at Islip. And you can see we started with northwest winds, dew points in the 50s, and then wind shifted to the southwest around 6 p.m. this evening at Islip. A little bit sooner than that on the South Shore, but generally speaking, we had that wind shift and the temperatures dropped, but the humidity did come back up as a result of that. marine influence. So let's now go and look at the latest on the models here. Actually, I want to go to Tropical Tidbits and just go and look at our current storms and take a look at Francine on the colored infrared. And you can see here, this is the enhanced colored infrared here, we call this, because this is this kind of shows you a little more of you see the purples and the whites. That's convection that's taking place. So this is definitely a strengthening hurricane that we have here. So spaghetti models all seem to be very close to New Orleans now. They're definitely shifting a little more to the east. We're seeing that. Intensity guidance, they've backed off on the intensity. I don't know. I really, given the conditions, I would think that the storm would get stronger. And honestly, I still think there's a possibility it could landfall as a Category 3. We've seen rapid intensification before, and it could happen again. So we're going to take a look here at the general GFS. Obviously, high pressure stays in control. Fair weather for us. But there's Francine making its landfall tomorrow evening in Louisiana. And then the remnants of that move up into the Great Lakes. We continue to stay dry with this high pressure over us. There is another system that could develop next week, but that high kind of just, well, we might see as clouds, and maybe we'll get some rain, but you see things stay pretty dry for us. But we'll take one thing at a time here. Let's go to the southeast U.S. View of this. And again, here is, you can see a really wrapped up system here. This is Francine here coming into, looks like taking aim almost just to the west of New Orleans, Baton Rouge. These areas are going to get pounded here. And there's going to be a lot of rain, too. So if we take a look at the total amount of rain that could fall here, you'll see some of these areas could see over a foot of rain. And in this tight area, and then around it, you're going to see at least 5 to 6 inches of rain. So you're going to have the combination of that as well as the winds. So we'll go to the wind next on this. So here's the wind, and you can see, yeah, it's going to strengthen. Going into tomorrow, I think it's going to undergo some rapid intensification. And an intensifying hurricane on landfall is always a bad thing. And that's why I think this is going to be pretty bad. This is the GFS. We can show the European, but I think we have general agreement here. Here's the European. General agreement. The European even stronger. I could see that white there on the wind field. You can definitely see that. It's stronger and deeper. Icon. Also fairly strong as well. How about the HRRR? HRRR also, yeah, look at the HRRR. Really does give it some rapid intensification. And that's what I think we're going to see overnight into tomorrow. We're going to see, you could see that by the satellite, that it's going to undergo some very rapid intensification, this storm. So we're going to now look at some of the other additional models here that we have. First, let me just go back to the HRRR, and I want to look at the go to the HRRR. I want to look at the precipitation view of this thing. All right, we're going to 0Z HRRR. So here's the 0Z HRRR. Here's your precipitation view. You can see, again, a lot of the heavier rain is going to be up to the north and the east of the center, and, of course, always the chance of tornadoes as well. So we do have hurricane warnings in effect, obviously, for this area. Here in this red area is all a hurricane warning, and around it, tropical storm warnings. This is going to be a pretty significant storm here. Let's go and look at some of the conditions here. What should I say? Some of the observations in this area. So we're going to go to that next. And you see also all these warnings is all lit up here. All lit up. So you can see the conditions already deteriorating. Not too much here, but you can see that closer to the center. Yeah, I want to see if we can get some buoy observations. There's not a whole lot here, but you can see gusts. Oh, here's a gust to 77 at this. So, yeah, some pretty strong wind gusts over here being reported as well. 56 mile an hour wind gust here. Water temperature 85 degrees. So plenty strong enough to support this thing. Continuing to intensify as it barrels towards Louisiana. going across the country here, we have those red flag warnings out west, of course. We have air quality alerts in effect. Let's see if there are any reports of smoke in any of some of these areas here, like North Dakota, because that was a pretty thick cloud. You got 6-mile visibility there in Bismarck, North Dakota, and they're dealing with the haze from the wildfire smoke that's actually near the surface. So I'm kind of interested to see if some of this is going to make it down to the surface in some of these areas tomorrow. Minneapolis, not seeing anything yet. But then, generally speaking, we'll have to watch that, and we'll look at the smoke models. But let's now go and take a look at another website for model, as we look at Francine here. And you can see here's Francine on the Ventus Sky site. We're going to go to the wind gusts here, so kind of show you, visualize what's going to happen as we head into tomorrow. And you can see it's rapidly strengthening tomorrow. You could see that. I think it's Category 2 by probably noon tomorrow or early afternoon, and then there's the chance that it could also strengthen further into a Category 3 storm as it makes a landfall. There's still a chance that could happen. This is the HRRR here, so here's New Orleans right here. You can see some of these wind gusts now. This is getting pretty strong here as it makes that landfall. Here we are at 6 o'clock. It's a slow mover too, as well. Look at some of these wind gusts around here. Again, you've got some pretty strong winds. Here's New Orleans right here. All right, so as we get to 9 o'clock, you can see, this is actually tracking east. This is going to track right over New Orleans. It looks like it's making a direct. This is the HRRR. So the HRRR has this making a direct, going directly over New Orleans. This track has shifted east quite a bit, I might add. But this is not a good spot for New Orleans because you're going to have that wind just pushing the water into Lake Pontchartrain and all these other areas, and that's going to cause a lot of flooding, and that's not a good situation at all. So here we are. So it actually takes the eye directly over New Orleans in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. This is a bad situation, a very bad situation. And let's go and look at the, I think this does give us the, this doesn't give us the way. Yes, see, here we go. This is the other thing that we've got to worry about because we have all these 20-footer waves coming in, and as this thing makes its way in, you're going to have water being pushed in. You're going to have the rainfall on top of it and water being pushed in. So I'm really concerned about flooding for New Orleans with a setup like this. This is going to be pretty devastating, I think. So we're going to go now to windy.com as well and look at that as well. So we will go ahead and look at that. This is the European model here. This is windy.com. We'll shift this over to gusts because I think this model is a little bit better. So here is windy.com. We go move this over to, you see those whites? Whenever you see that, that's a sign of a Category 3 hurricane, and that's the European seems to weaken, and then it strengthens it again right before it makes a landfall. And again, this is close to Category 3 conditions here. We could see that. And again, here's New Orleans right here. Euro's tracking a little more west than the HRRR, but it still is a little less worse for New Orleans, but it's close. It's a close call. And so that's why there's a hurricane warning in effect for this area. And if we look at the waves on this, which actually I think are better, this is a better site to kind of visualize the ocean. You can see here tomorrow afternoon the kind of waves that you're going to have coming in, and again, that's all going to be coming into New Orleans, and they have it's going to be a bad situation. So I'm hoping that their levee system can hold up and survive this storm. And of course, a lot of the pumps, that all relies on power, and there could be a lot of damage, obviously, to the power infrastructure. There was with the last hurricane that affected that area. It destroyed a lot of transmission lines, so it could happen again. So that is the latest on Francine, I should say. I keep getting them mixed up. I do apologize. So we'll just take a brief look at our weather here. Obviously, going into tomorrow here, a very brief look. Obviously, we're staying dry. High pressure is over us. Dew points and wind flow here. Your dew points, they might come down a little bit toward the morning. We have more of a northeast to east flow setting up, and then toward the afternoon we see that southerly flow again, which is going to bring in more moisture. And then for Thursday, we again see that drop in dew point during the day when the wind's a little more, in the morning when the wind's a little more northeast off the land, and then it becomes southeast later on. As far as the skies go, I think we will have some higher level clouds tomorrow. It's showing some upper level moisture that we are going to have. So I'll go to the RGM and we'll just look at the skies as we go into tomorrow. This is the 0 RGM because we are running a little bit on the later side, but you can see here, yeah, we don't have enough of that in, so I got to look at the ATT. You see some scattered high clouds. They'll still see plenty of sunshine. Thursday, probably less in the way of clouds, but the next thing, these are the clouds here from Francine that don't quite make into our area. Here's Friday. So let's go and now look at the smoke situation. We'll go and look at, see where this wildfire smoke is heading. Wait for this. So you can see all the smoke that we have. So right now we're not dealing with too much of it, just a little bit of it. But as we get into Thursday, I think you can see it getting closer and closer and closer to our area. And it may eventually get into our area later Thursday, and especially Friday. Maybe we'll get lucky. But you can see there's a lot of it, just a lot of smoke. But I know we're running a little bit late tonight because I watched the debate. Had to do that. That was important. I hope you did too as well. But that is going to wrap up this Long Island weather update, general weather update on Hurricane Francine as well. So I will provide Francine only updates tomorrow. So that's the only thing I'll make videos on when it comes to the weather tomorrow is Francine. As this thing bears down on Louisiana, and I tell you, I wouldn't want to be anywhere in that area right now because I think the storm is going to be worse than everybody thinks it's going to be. So, just judging by all the signs that we have, I think this still has the potential of landfall as a Category 3 hurricane, even though no one else is saying it's going to. Given the really warm water temperatures and the explosive convection that I saw on the satellite, I think this storm has the potential to landfall as a Category 3. I still believe that. Anyway, have a good night.